Winter solstice, or Yule, is a time of great symbolism and great power in pagan circles. It is celebrated on the longest night of the year and therefore marks the returning of the sun as the days begin to get a little longer, heading into the warmer months ahead. This makes it a perfect time to celebrate with family and friends, to share in the spirit of giving, and today we're going to look into it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Yule is the time of reflection, and as I mentioned before, it takes place on the longest night of the year. This gives plenty of time for taking a moment to offer up prayer on Yule, whether that's to a god or to your ancestors, or simply to a personification of a concept. You can also try different devotionals for each day of Yuletide. So that is the longest night and the day following being the first day, and then the 11 after that, making 12 in total for the 12 days. And considering that Yule is the celebration that Christmas replaced when Christianity became the predominant religion of the Western world, we are talking about the 12 days of Christmas, essentially. Obviously, you're going to want to set your altar up as well. So the colours you'll want are red, white and green. The Christians didn't just make these up. They are picked for various reasons. You want to use cold colours as well. So you want to have blues, silvers and whites, and then find ways to integrate your red and your green in there. Now that might be through using some bows of evergreens like pine and holly and mistletoe, basically all plants that we still associate with the secular and Christian celebration of Christmas. Those will never go out of style. They are evergreen after all, and they will work to add some dark green in as well, allowing you to use more vibrant reds, and maybe you'll just make your altar cloth blue, and then you'll have your colours, your white and your silver sort of underneath with the green and red on top, maybe. But by putting in the darker greens, you can add pops of lighter green throughout, as well as your reds and your whites, and they're really gonna sort of show through. In modern pagan magical practice, red is often associated with passion and sexuality. However, for some people it indicates prosperity. In chakra work, it's connected to the root chakra, located at the base of your spine, which is the grounding force that allows you to connect to the earth energies and empower our beings. Excuse me. I needed to sneeze before, and it's decided that it's not going to do that, and just one side of my face is going to leak. If you're using white on your altar at Yule, consider incorporating it into rituals that focus on purification, on your spiritual development. Hang white snowflakes and stars around your home as a way of keeping the spiritual environment clean. Add plump white pillows filled with herbs to your couch to create a quiet, sacred space for meditation. Since the winter solstice is the season of the sun, gold is often associated with solar power and energy, which between, the green of evergreens, the white of snow, the gold of the sun, and then red through things like holly, and then its relation to grounding and sort of the base of everything in chakra work. These are the colours that are predominantly used anyway, so go for it. So if your tradition honours the return of the sun, why not hang some gold suns around your house as a tribute? And obviously, some gold suns might just be some gold balls on your tree with a big white star at the top, and a length of red tinsel going up your big green tree, just to get all the colours in there. And maybe that's it. Maybe your tree is your altar. Like, you have some candles sort of nearby, but not right underneath. You don't want to be catching your tree on fire and burning your house down. But having them there, maybe they're some sort of a Christmas scent. That then you just sort of sit there and you sort of meditate while looking at your tree. Now, on your altar, you can use a gold candle to represent the sun on your altar. You're going to want it in probably the eastern orientation. And obviously, as the day goes on, you can sort of, if you're coming back multiple times throughout the day, you can slowly move your sun across your compass, depending on where it is at that particular time of day. You'll want to cover your altar with a cloth in a cool colour, so a green, a blue, a soft white, and then add your candles in a variety of different wintry shades. Use candles in silvers and golds, and you might want to add a red one in there, maybe, completely up to you. Yule is a Sabbath that reflects the return of the sun, so solar symbols should be on your altar. Gold discs, yellow candles, anything bright and shiny that can represent the sun. Some people even get a large pillar candle, inscribe it with solar symbols. The chemical symbol is just a circle with a dot in the middle. It also is the symbol for gold, so getting a gold candle, inscribing that in the side of it, there is your sun candle. You can also add evergreen bows, sprigs of holly, pine cones, a Yule log, and even a Santa Claus. Consider antlers or reindeer along with other symbols of fertility. You can try incorporating sacred plants in your winter solstice as well. Evergreen bows like pines, fir, juniper, and cedar work really well, and they're typically associated with themes of protection and prosperity, as well as that of a continuation of life and renewal. Being that they're evergreen, they continue through the dead time, like the death of winter, when all other plant life dies off. So they are seen as sort of symbols of prosperity and immortality, and in fact the idea of bringing a tree inside the home is to try and preserve the life spirit. That all other trees are dying, you bring the evergreens in to preserve the life spirit of the forest, so that after the solstice you can take it back out, plant it, and it's supposed to bring, at least in like early superstitions, was supposed to bring life back to the earth by doing so. You can hang a sprig of holly in your house to ensure good luck and safety to your family. You can wear it as a charm or make holy water, which, if you subtract 1 L, becomes holy water. And you do that by soaking leaves overnight in spring water under a full moon. You can use bird branches to craft your own besom for magical workings and its spells and rituals. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Obviously, things like mistletoe symbolizes fertility and abundance and is often associated with the winter holidays. The irony that mistletoe is actually poisonous to humans, and it represents fertility and abundance. It's probably because we can't eat it, so it's everywhere because we're not picking it to eat it. So of course it's going to continue to grow. Snowflakes, icicles, etc. Evoke that mysticism of wintertime. Candy canes, although they're typically associated with the Christmas holiday, they can be utilized in magic as a way to direct energy. If you are making your own, you can leave them unbent and you've just made candy wands instead, and then the red in it can represent the fire energy that a wand represents. Bells are also often included in pagan practice as a way of driving away evil spirits, but you can use them as a method of bringing harmony to your magical space. Sun wheels and other solar symbols as well. You can perform a ritual to welcome back the sun. The ancients knew the winter solstice was the longest night of the year, and that meant that the sun was returning to the world after having left it. This made it a time of celebration and for rejoicing in the knowledge that soon the warm days of spring would return and the dormant earth would come back to life. And so obviously they would perform a ritual. Yule is also a really big time, especially the month beforehand, for cleansing rituals. Now, the month beforehand, or really sort of the month and a half beforehand, is kind of the space between Samhain and Yule. Right, so if you come into Samhain, New Year, so all of a sudden it's cleaning time. This makes the most sense if you celebrate the way I do. It makes the most sense anyway for the Southern Hemisphere, because you're going to come into the New Year on Samhain. You then have your spring cleaning in November rather than in September. You do it at the end, and that means that by the time, or throughout November and early December, means that by the time you get to Yule, you have cleansed your entire house, top to bottom, back to front, inside and out, ready for the holidays. Because obviously, right after Yule is, if you're a pagan, you can still also celebrate Christmas as a secular thing, as sort of more of the capitalist holiday that it's kind of become. You can enjoy the public holidays, the bank holidays and stuff that usually come along with that, and then it's only about a week later that the calendar New Year comes around. So it really is sort of like a holiday season. And then in Australia, our national days at the end of January, and then next year, the 1st of February is Lunar New Year, and then there's Valentine's Day. We've also got, again, if you're celebrating the way I do, we've got Imbolg coming on the 1st of February as well. So it's big holiday season, and that's what we mean when we say holiday season. It's actually just the season for holidays. And for me, that is Samhain at the end of October, beginning of November, and then all the other ones take place in a month that is, on the calendar at least, in summer. So the summer holidays, meaning that in the Southern Hemisphere, you can celebrate these holidays with your family because the children don't have to go to school, and for the most part, with public holidays and stuff that generally come along with these sorts of secular holidays, you actually get to spend some of that time with your family as well. So cleansing rituals are a big part. I'm not going to get into it because the paragraph in that, if you click on that link and you scroll down till it says Yule cleansing ritual, they go through everything from donating clothes to charity, decorating for Yule, what to do with things like your magazine subscriptions and your newspapers, and sort of the best places to put them, how many to keep, how to clear out common areas, how to, advice on how to clean your windows, and your carpets and rugs and blinds, sweeping, doing a bathroom clean, smudging. There's a whole host of things here. You can then host a Yule Log Ceremony. So this is a celebration that began in Norway. On the night of the winter solstice, it was common to hoist a giant log onto the hearth to celebrate the return of the sun each year. If your family enjoys rituals, you can welcome back the sun at Yule with this simple winter ceremony. The first thing you'll need is a Yule log. If you make it a week or two in advance, you can enjoy it as a centerpiece prior to burning it in the ceremony. And by that they mean having the log on the table at dinner. So you'll also obviously need a fire with which to burn the log. So if you're doing this ritual outside, even better. But if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, make sure that it's going to fit in your fireplace. Have that fire already crackling, and then put your log into the fire. So yeah, this one's the one the whole family can do. There's our holiday tree blessing ritual. If your family uses a holiday tree during the Yule season, and many pagan families do, again, because you are still able to celebrate these secular holidays, you might want to consider a blessing ritual for your tree, both at the time you cut it down or buy it from the store if you use one of the fake ones, and again before you decorate it. Although many families use fake holiday trees, a cut one from a tree farm is actually more environmentally friendly because it's not made of plastic, and it's, when it breaks down or when the season's over, you can just put it through a wood chipper and turn it into fertilizer for your flower beds. More environmentally friendly. So if you have never considered a live tree, maybe next year, now, will be a good year to start a new tradition. Yule is the time of the winter solstice, and for many pagans is a time to say goodbye to the old and welcome the new. As the sun returns to the earth, life begins once more. This ritual can be performed by a solitary practitioner, and it's easily adaptable for a small group of people as well. And I didn't say anything there, but we are talking about goddess rituals. So, what do we got here? It says, as the sun returns to earth, life begins once more. Time to bid the crone farewell and invite the maiden back into our lives. This ritual can be performed by a group of 4 or more. Clearly it's designed for at least 4 women. But if you don't have that many, you are, you can just have one woman speaking all the roles. If you have an all-male group, you could revise that right so it focuses on the Battle of the Oak and the Holly King, rather than the Crone and the Maiden. If you have a mixed group, make your adaptations as you see fit. You might decide to do both if you've got a mixed group. And there's a little sort of step-by-step guide of how to do that, as well as all of the lines for this particular one. You can do a blessing ritual for your donations. I mean, donating to begin with is such a blessing, but you might want to volunteer with whichever charity you're donating to. Actually give your time as well, donate some time. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do. It's not in here for whatever reason, but obviously there's gonna be a feast. You know, I mean, a good sort of base one that you can really just put at any pagan gathering is ale and cake. Ale and cake is the pagan bread and butter for you know, putting on a small feast. But you wanna sort of look at the sorts of things that, you know, the ancient civilizations might have eaten during the winter. So preserved meats are the most likely, which is why a smoked ham is probably the number one for Christmas dinners. It's probably because ham is a cured meat and therefore it can last a little bit longer than most other cuts. So yeah, so your ham's probably going to still be there. You don't have to worry. You can still use grandma's you know, Christmas ham recipe. Talking about ale and cake before, combine the two, add some fruit, you got a Christmas cake. So you can really sort of just have your regular stuff. You are allowed to put a modern twist on it, obviously, but at the same time there are also traditional foods. It's just surprising to me that there isn't a list of pagan foods on here for it. We get things for crafts, the history of Yule, the colours for the season, how to make a Yule log, etc, etc, etc. A couple of other links to other sabbats, but none of them are showing me anything about food. But the link that I have shared with you will be in the description down below. If you are new here, please hit the subscribe button. That would be greatly appreciated. And also ring that notification bell while you are up there. Turn on those push notifications so you can stay up to date when I upload new videos. If you enjoyed this one, please give it a big thumbs up. And until next time, guys, keep your head screwed on.